Moving on, we should also expect increased production costs in certain areas. So the first thing is, if you engage employees and you listen to the minister carefully when I was in Parliament last week, the minister asked Parliament to speed up the passage of the income tax bill. The natural question I expect to follow from that is, what is in that bill at all that should be sped up? One of the things in that bill is that if you are blessed enough and your monthly income, just on the face value, let's not get complicated yet, it's about 50,000 Ghana cedis, then we are saying that contribute a lot more into the pot by paying a marginal tax of 35%. So you could see so many things going on in social media. Parliament has not passed it yet. So just in case your accountant has been overly enthusiastic and amended your payroll systems, please revert and let's wait until it's passed. Otherwise, it may raise issues on managing your cash flows. For those who may think 50,000 is big, let's just translate that into dollars. At even a going rate of about 12. So you're talking about earning 4,000, and you should start committing over a third of your income to the states. Those are conversations that we can have. The other thing is that if you give your employee, to make them a lot more efficient, vehicles, you fuel them, the deemed value for those benefits have been increased across board by 2.5 times. So let's assume that previously a deemed benefit that your employee was getting was vehicle and fuel, and the top rate is 500 cedis. 500 cedis times 2.5 gives us 1,250. So straight away the deemed benefit, if this law is passed, kicks in, and it means that you would have additional income taxes to pay. So your payroll systems must be updated. We all know discount policy doesn't exist any longer. We're all expected to pay the full rates. However, closely linked to that, and we need to monitor, is that government would be replacing the book. So let me just break it down. When you import anything into Ghana, there is a book that we look at. So if the thing is coming from China, we don't need to know the Chinese language. All that we need to know is the code. So those codes are put in a book we call the harmonized code. Those codes also have taxes assigned to them, and we call them tariffs. That book is typically revised from time to time, and the next revision was a 2022 revision. So your product may have been classified such that you pay tax at, say, 10%. The update in the book to the 2022 version may make your tax rate change just on the basis of classification. So we need to monitor and see if the classification of our products remains the same after the 2022 version would be used. So those of you in procurement should begin looking at that area. Lastly, the 2022 budget told us that people are smoking too much. So we don't want them to smoke too much. So whether they smoke the correct smoke or they use the electronic version of smoking, all smoking is smoking. So government proposed to introduce certain rates there. Now, the budget is only a wish that the executive government is presenting to the people you and I voted to represent us in Parliament. Those people can decide to say, as for this wish, I will not grant it. The formal presentation of what is in the budget, if they are tax-related things that requires amendment, is to present them in a bill. So the excise amendment bill was submitted to Parliament. And in that bill, government have actually gone beyond smoking and alcoholic products. So for those of you into sugar making products, beverages and stuff, fruit juices and stuff, government is also saying that we must all contribute. So as soon as the law is passed, or the bill is passed into law, your duty rates or your excise duty rate, to be specific, would also go up. So you should start having conversations with those that look at production costs and prepare for those. Or probably call your MP and tell your MP that don't vote for it, kick it out. So the choice is yours. But at least you know, so that you can navigate the waters. Moving on, there's going to be an increase in your tax base. So let me start with imported books. Government says that going forward into 2023, if you import books, textbooks, we want you to buy made in Ghana made books. So previously, you were not paying import duties on textbooks. Now you pay. So that's what government is saying. So let us use the Sempa publishers and go and grow made in Ghana things. Read Ghana things, don't read imported books. So that's the message here. For this one, it has already been passed. If you want to do anything about it, you can talk to your MP for media. But government will have to table it. So if the government doesn't table it, know where things are going. So if your cost shoots up in that area, then we need to recognize that. Government also says that the city has taken a lot of hit. Going into 2023, we don't want you to come and affect our tax base by taking a deduction for a city which has gotten its own mind. So for me to allow you to make a deduction, government says that the transaction must actually be settled. So you cannot just do an accrual or something that you haven't really settled. The loss is not realized and say you want to take a deduction. Government has been quiet. What happens on unrealized gains? So we wait to see the final version of the bill and what is tabled and passed. Quickly moving on. You know, this thing is not all bad news. So some good news. So government is saying that previously you could carry forward tax losses for a general period of 3 years. Some privileged industries had 5 years. Going forward, everyone can do for 5 years. After 5 years, it extinguishes. Closely linked to that, if you lose your job because of COVID-19 or the current economic challenges, which is even making government struggle to pay their debt, if you go to your 3rd year fund manager and ask them to give you your money, the tax that we typically apply at the rate of 15% will not apply. So at least government would have contributed 15% to you to help you manage the economic challenges that we are going through.